So we're going to try something a little bit different today. We're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A.
And we have not been perfect with collecting all the Q's we wish to A. We got a couple here, and I made up a few, and Tony made up a few, and I think we have enough to talk about for a little while.
And with that, welcome back to Scryer's Room. I am your host, Famfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
And if you enjoy the nature of this content, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can go ahead and give me a follow on Blue Sky. And you can support us on our Patreon, where you can get each episode a week early. Now, we're going to start with the question of what is our origin story?
Yeah, we've wanted to talk about this for a little while, just because we think it's quite novel that this isn't at all what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, not even kind of. So, this podcast actually began because we are all various flavors of hermits in our own regard. Basement goblins. Mario particularly was in full hermitage mode before the podcast. In fact, that's one reason I insisted he come out, was that, socialization and whatnot. Myself included, don't get me wrong.
We saw him losing his socialization like a gorilla in a zoo.
And so I invite him over and we start doing this writer's room because I'm working on a novel. Kevin has published a novel and is working on some more fiction.
Always.
And Mario was at the time working on a bit of fiction, some fan fiction based off of TRPG stuff we've been doing. And we got together to do a writer's room on Wednesdays. And that devolved into not being a writer's room at all.
It pretty quickly became, hey, I watched this thing. Let me explain all of it to you.
Yeah, here's this weird thing that I saw, Tony. Isn't this weird?
And I think the big one that got us fully this is our new direction was Barbarian.
Barbarian!
Yeah, because I had just watched that.
Oh, man.
Kevin had already seen it, and then I had recently watched that, and we were just like, Tony, you want to hear about this horrible movie? I mean, it's a really good movie.
This really good movie that you would never watch in a million years.
Yeah, it's a very unsettling movie.
It's not a movie that Tony would like. It's the opposite of Big Tony.
Ironically, it hit a lot of things for Kevin. The whole secret tunnels thing, even played to a horror aspect. I'm like, this is so cool. Go into the caverns, into the dungeon.
Yeah, it's a hell of a movie. But then it was, what was the second one? Me ranting about Rings of Power, I think.
Rings of Power was a big one.
Well, okay, and another big one too. Even I guess the precursor, the proto rant.
Oh yeah,
was Akira. We talked about this in a previous episode.
Yeah, with
Mario came in hot to me one day, mad about watching the movie Akira because I can't say Kaori. Yeah, can't say names today. The way they treat that character in the movie is just so shameful. It's disrespectful. It's just not good. And he was very heated and passionate, and I was like, I need to capture this. I need to capture this on the microphone. And then a few days later, the Barbarian thing happened, and I was like, all right, well, I need to start doing this.
My favorite part about that is that the passion that he had for that Akira opinion carried him into multiple arguments.
Yeah, there was a period of time where I'll just tell anyone about it. Just like, I watched Akira for the first time. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's funny.
And as much as we wanted to do a writer's room thing, we didn't necessarily have the direction or unity to do a writer's room as much as we had the direction and unity to do funny bits to each other about the things that we watched. And also, we wanted to share good things with each other, generally. Unfortunately, the next thing that happened was Rings of Power was coming out at the time.
Yeah.
And that whole, let's talk about good, cool things that maybe we wouldn't watch together or you wouldn't watch. And then it immediately became do you see this disrespectful piece of shit? They didn't even make chainmail. They just printed chainmail onto shirts.
Because out of the three here, I care the most about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very annoyed. But I have a thing I do where I'm willing to consume media I don't like so I can hate it more.
Yeah.
And so I watched all of the first season of Rings of Power, and then I ranted about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's bad.
He's not a fan.
Have you continued watching Rings of Power?
No.
Oh, you didn't get to see that Sauron is a Venom?
I don't care. They can do whatever they want. It's fine.
You should see his face. I wish you could see his face.
It's fine.
He's so pissed.
Just looking into the middle distance, saying it's fine.
Look, like the video game shit is like whatever, you know, that's a video game. But
Yeah.
like
People don't expect video game adaptations to be
like a
respectful.
multi-million-dollar fucking project from a major company. Like,
Oh yeah, a
fuck
series
you.
that comes from a massive company putting in an amount of money that, at the very least, each episode should be at least half the quality of each movie.
It's bad.
Just by budget alone, there's no way that they couldn't, and yet here we are with chainmail printed on shirts and a number of characters whose actors I would describe as present. That's a guy. Yeah.
Certainly is a guy.
That's a guy, all right. Not a guy that I'll remember, or like if I see him in another show, I'll be able. There's no way that anyone's like, oh, that guy plays Gandalf, like young Gandalf. No, that guy doesn't have a face. He's a silhouette almost. He's nothing. He has no personality, no presence of anything. And they were like, let's make that the show. No one is anyone.
I want to segue this into our second question on our Q&A here. What is your favorite fictional setting?
That is
because
good.
Obviously it's not the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings. It's not the Rings of Power, Middle Earth.
Yeah. No.
It's a hard one though.
So I have a problem with like picking a favorite fictional setting because I am like a weird narcissist man, and when I think about like fictional settings, I like only can like appreciate them in the context of whatever work I'm going into. And when I think of like, oh well, what kind of setting do you like, my brain immediately is like, one of mine, because I'm a special smart.
Wow,
Yeah.
aren't you cool?
But just generally, I have been like willing to eat up a good deal of Star Wars things, not necessarily because of the setting. I don't have like the care for Star Wars that a guy who like actually like gets mad about Star Wars has. I think that's probably why I'm able to like have the opinions that I have.
It's a space adventure.
Yeah, it's a space adventure. I like Western looks. I like samurai movies. Any kind of swordplay in a film, you get me watching. I watched Rebel Moon, like, despite that not even being anything.
I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
You don't need to.
Well, no, I don't.
Because the third movie's not even coming out. We've bullied Zack Snyder fully into...
Really?
He gave up.
He gave up?
But I don't know
I
if...
feel bad.
Don't, because I don't know that he's learned his lesson.
Oh, man.
He might have just given up, like, I guess they don't like Rebel Moon. It can't be because I keep making poor choices. Now, you see, that sounds a lot like I care about it. I still don't. I'd prefer it be good. I'd prefer that a setting be good and well thought out, similar to something like the Sando would prepare for us.
Yeah.
The Cosmere's pretty cool. I've enjoyed, at the very least, I've read Mistborn and Warbreaker, and I have bounced off of a couple times the Stormlight Archives. I'm trying, but there's more than one prologue, and
They're dense.
it's dense. It's a brick. And like a setting that actually has a good deal of like internal consistency, even though we're not privy to like the mechanisms of it. We know that they are there and that they have limitations, and they paint the universe in that way where like each individual story and power set comes from like a different aspect of like the higher god beings that exist in like the meta story of the Cosmere, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
And I really like that. I think that is really cool, and probably a lot. I consider a lot more of that to be what we should just be doing, instead of like accepting like, yeah, I guess the Force can do that now. They teleport lightsabers to each other, or yeah, I guess he goes Super Saiyan 2 now. He does it again, even harder. He's Super Saiyan 3 even. This time he's got even longer hair. He did it again. Legendary. Like, those feel much more like convenient settings rather than like an actual universe with like limitations and facts. But also, I really like One Piece as a setting. I've been doing the reread, and I've really been appreciating a lot of the lore and world building that has been going into it from the beginning. For example, like later, everybody knows about like the pacifistas and like the world government has like cybernetics and like advanced body modifications technology, but that was foreshadowed in like the first couple arcs with Axe Hand Morgan replacing his hand with an axe is like technically cybernetic, but he also replaced his broken jaw, and we get to see this other guy.
That's a good point. Yeah.
In the Sanji arc, we get to see a guy who has like bolt knuckles that he's stronger than 2 men at least, and the cybernetics only get more advanced from there. But elsewhere, we get to see how everything else advances, and also the reason why things are the way they are. And although the flashback arc that we are currently in as of this recording, in like up to date One Piece, is taking away from the current arc, the setup that it is like accomplishing and the clarification of the history of the world, I think, has been incredible, because it's not just nonsense like, oh, did you know that actually there's a space emperor named Frieza? And then later, oh, and actually, by the way, he blew up the Saiyan planet. Isn't that crazy? Like, it doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere. The things that happened that we like just assumed like, that's life as a pirate, we get to see like the historical reasons in the setting for why they are the way they are, and they're pretty consistent with where everybody ends up. Very well-written history. It's just not exactly in the right places, I don't think, because these flashbacks definitely come in like right as soon as something interesting is about to happen, and then it's like, okay, flashback time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just manga writing, though.
Yeah. I have to say One Piece. One Piece is probably my favorite.
Okay, that's a good one.
I don't know if I could pick like a true favorite, but probably right now, like, I've been obsessed with 40K for a bit, which isn't to say like I would pick that as like my favorite thing, but like
it's low hanging fruit. I'm shying away from that one as well, because it's something I do like know well, and it's a part of my life, but it doesn't make it my favorite.
Which more just that I've been consuming almost nothing but like the Horus Heresy novels for like several months.
There's a chance that my One Piece answer is painted by my focusing heavily on One Piece lately. Yeah,
like, do I love 40K more than like the Cosmere? Like, no, not necessarily, but like right now, like I'm way more interested in reading shit about 40K than I am like catching up on Cosmere stuff. Like, this is what I said it like in another episode or something. My interests oscillate wildly, so it's like for a while, like a long time now, it's been like focused on 40K because I've like been committed to the Horus Heresy. But if I were like switched and there's a Cosmere book I haven't read yet. That came out a while ago now. I'm not like Rob, where it's like as soon as it drops, like he'll just fucking read it immediately in one go, like in a couple hours.
We get like the tip off that a new Cosmere book has come out by Rob saying like at 3 a.m. I need to do that now.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, if it's like a day that we're supposed to like all meet up or play D&D or something, he's like, there's a chance I won't be ready because I'll be sleeping from having read that book.
Yeah. So it's like I don't really need to do that, but when I do get into that, like my brain will flip a switch, and then I'll be in Cosmere mode.
Yeah,
basically.
That's a good answer. I like that. I would have to say Universal Century Gundam.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is probably because I'm usually more of a sword and sorcery over sci-fi. I play a lot of like fantasy games like that are like in the past kind of deal. Like I said, sword and sorcery. But I do enjoy quality sci-fi, and like remove the giant robots from the equation, and Gundam is one of the more realistic sci-fi settings to me, specifically in that most people live in space cities in space, and like the focus on the Lagrange points, like so much so that like in the sci-fi fiction that I'm working on, like that is where a lot of the conflict in the setting stems from is fighting over language points. Like, you know, everyone's in a post-scarcity society, you know, and there's so many resources in the universe that, like, we're not really worried about that. It's like there are celestial bodies, and of those celestial bodies, there's only specific spots by those bodies that are stable spaces of space to put shit. So that is the actual real estate that matters.
Yeah.
Like, even like,
and that is finite, unlike basically all our other resources.
Yeah, resources are basically infinite, but space is not. Yeah. Space that you can actually habit is not. That is a very finite amount of things, and that is what everyone's fighting about. Specifically, can I get the real estate to park my space station on this planet? Do you own the planet? Well, can I rent the portion of space around your planet to park my space stations to have civilization there? And a lot of conflict boils down to that, and I got that idea from Gundam, because that's like, all the colonies are only in the language points. That's where all the sides are.
Yeah.
And like, I remember growing up and like hearing like, oh, side 7. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Well, each side is on a language point.
So really, each side represents like essentially a different population zone.
Yeah, it's almost like its own country, because they're their own separate clusters of colonies, because those are the only stable parts of space around Earth that you can actually park them. Which
makes a lot more sense as to why the move always works so well.
Yeah, exactly, because once you get to a certain point, like the gravitational pull, there's a point of no return. I really want to get you to watch Stardust Memories, because they really make a meal out of like the point of no return. Because the last 3 episodes, spoilers, are they're gonna do the move again.
The colony drop.
The Neo Zeon guys, or like the Zeon remnants, whatever they call them at that point, because they keep rebranding.
The current Zeon.
They rebrand like 7 times. It's so funny. The current Zeon boys, go get them, boys! Fucking space fascists. Like they popped up an army out of nowhere again.
They love doing that.
They love doing that. And then they're floating another fucking colony to crash into the Earth, and like they're making a meal out of like, once it gets past this parallel in space, it's the point of no return. Like,
yeah. At that point, it will not be able to be stopped from falling on us, and it is a country.
And I any sci-fi that takes time to use actual science, you know, because one thing about sci-fi I really enjoy, and like living in the modern era, is how much science fiction has become science fact. Like, we lived through that. Like, we lived through ion engines. We lived through touchscreens.
A little bit of hard sci-fi, and like otherwise a show about robots really elevates it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fact that like, oh, we're using actual calculus to fuck you up because we're just going to drop a supermassive object on you. Like, we're just using literally gravity and basic math to fuck you. Like, instead of just like, you know, Gundam is considered the first real robot anime in that they actually attempt for things to make sense. Whereas before, the super robots are just magical and powered by shouting.
Yeah.
And whatever MacGuffin. Not supposed to make sense. It's just a kid's show.
Mazinger, literally in the lore of Mazinger, functions largely because he is built in the shape of Zeus.
There you go.
That checks out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
For super robots, that does check out.
We tried to watch a little bit of Mazinger. There was a series on Hulu, and I don't know if like we were starting like 3 seasons deep.
We were starting at like a few seasons down the line.
But it definitely was listed as season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
And they didn't introduce shit. Everything was exactly like as if you'd been watching this show for 12 hours. 100 different characters introduced. 2 robots that aren't named Mazinger.
Yeah, they did this recap as if like we were there the whole time.
Yeah.
It was it was a lot. It was a lot. It was season 1, episode 1, but it was as if it was picking up on like season 5 of something.
We were supposed to watch another series.
Because they're like introducing people and as you know, these guys were doing this thing over here. Like,
which angered Zeus, which is relevant right now.
Yeah, like
during the nuclear war in Tokyo.
What a size. What a fucking sight.
Luckily, even though the kaiju that we released last time, do you remember that? We did that. That kaiju we released last time, it changed its mind about attacking the city. So we made another one of our other guys. He turned into 6 guys, and then they all combined, and they turned into another kaiju, and now they're fighting. And when that fight ends, everyone's dead. And then we get like 3 ruffians who are just like sort of like munchkin kids who are like operating a giant robot with levers, like, we can't stop fighting, otherwise the kaijus will destroy everything. And then, like, how do they have that?
Yeah,
is that relevant? Yeah. Are they a super team? Did they steal it? Are they the coolest? They are the coolest.
They are the coolest.
They also got their asses beat. But it is a goddamn mystery to try to watch that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Whereas Gundam, it's a nuclear kind of, it's a type of nuclear engine that operates a giant machine that holds a laser gun, and it's very good at fighting.
And the laser gun is new. The laser gun used to only be on battleships.
Yeah.
In fact, most of warfare was fought with battleships and fighter jets until they made the robots, because the robots make all other like radar technology not work. So it stopped being about having your battleships lock on and target. Everything became manual again. And in manual warfare, the giant robots are kicking ass. It's still a stretch to use giant robots, obviously.
But sick as hell.
But they at least attempt to ground it into like why it works, especially because mobile suits are designed to be in space. Yeah. They're not designed to be in Earth. On Earth, mobile suits are stupid on Earth. But the fact that you already have them, you fit them to be usable on Earth. But they're meant to be used in space.
And unfortunately, they're just so sick every time we see them on Earth, and we get to hear the as they take a step.
Every time they do Planetfall 2, and any scene they do Planetfall is always super fucking sick. When they're like, in Zeta Gundam, when they're falling on Jaburo, and they're just coming at him. Dude, so good. But yeah, so my favorite setting is going to have to be Gundam. So specifically because of colonies. I envision something similar of our civilization one day.
I have one other setting that I'd like to make an honorable mention to, because I am also quite invested in, and that is the setting of Battle Angel Alita.
That is a top 10. Top 10 because the cyberpunk aesthetic is so good in that one.
Those of you who do not know about Battle Angel Alita,
you should listen to our second episode, because he goes in on it, and
it rules so hard.
Yeah.
We don't even know that we're on Earth for a good portion of it. Like, it could just be like, oh, it's whatever, friggin' it's anime, it's wherever. But like, it has a massive history that like leads back to modern day. Like, from modern day, we can see how the history of this world shaped it into, eventually, she's playing a roller derby game against cyborgs that like have lawnmowers and shit for arms.
So sick.
And it's so sick, and I make it sound silly, but it rules. I highly recommend reading the manga, and especially getting through at least to getting through part 2, which is Last Order. That is perfect, wonderful. A lot of it's like battle manga stuff, but it is also such a fun cyberpunk setting.
And if you're a person who usually doesn't like trans characters, it will probably sell you on trans characters. It definitely did for me.
I don't like saying this as like a bonus, but it is genuinely like one of the most progressively written like mangas of its era. I mean, a good deal of it came out in the 90s, and I don't know if you've heard about the 90s here. We weren't super good about that kind of stuff. And if you know about how the 90s were in Japan, you know that they also really not super good about that kind of stuff.
It just goes to show how art drives culture. In between like that and JoJo's and like a few other works, like they were really trying to push the envelope a lot harder than like we give them credit for.
And with a lot of speculative fiction, you also have to like cast the net further than lowest common denominator, make the ethnic majority your main characters type writing, which I'm not going to say that that's like an evil thing to do. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people who is like, oh, if you don't like completely diversify your cast, you've failed. I will say, however, that diversity of characters in every, like, on every facet that you can give them some diversity from one another is where you get to actually show how that character exists, and it lets them be more vibrant.
Yeah, exactly. You're making a more fuller and vibrant world when you have like diverse characters. But if you want same face, if the point of your setting is same face,
yeah,
then do same face.
It's horses for courses.
There was one example of this of like le wokisme of like fucking of me being like yeah tell him. Rob points out is Sword of Truth. No, not Sword of Truth. Is it Wheel of Time?
Yeah.
Wheel of Time. I get those two mixed up. It's bad that I get them mixed up because one of them is
very
problematic.
different. Yeah,
one of them is very problematic, and it's the one I said.
I thought you were going down a very different path.
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
my friend.
No, not Sword of Truth, and not Sword of Truth. Wheel of Time. Like the cast and the show, they have this very diverse, like the town he's from, whatever, is this very diverse cast of people. And it's like, okay, that's all fine and well. But the point of the book is that they're all inbred bumpkins from the same place because that's like what the story's about. Like,
so, yeah, kind of. So like specifically their village, the main character village.
yeah,
they're the descendants of like this specific like past civilization.
yeah.
So it's like, plus it's they're in vaguely middle age ish. Type of technology,
Some kind of Xena times.
and technically populations tend to be homogenous, and
That's what I'm saying.
type
Yeah,
of civilizations
yeah.
and stuff.
Which is fine as far as casting goes. It's not a big deal for a show. I don't care. Include whoever you want. But as far as like realism goes, yeah, that is an unrealistic aspect of that show. But it's not something that should make or break or even be something that you're mad about.
Which isn't to say that there isn't diversity in the setting. Like, of course,
yeah,
there
and
is.
within the setting, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why you put it where it matters instead of forcing it in spots where it doesn't. Like, that's the issue that people should draw.
The narrative is served by him being from this secluded monoculture.
Yeah.
And it is sort of undermined by, like, well, what if it's just like everywhere else?
Yeah,
where,
exactly.
Like there's this diversity of character. I don't particularly know the story
details,
or the
show.
show.
Do I, so I'm kind of talking on.
Well, it's like specifically the main character, Rand, Rand al'Thor, is he.
His name is Randall.
Rand.
What's his last?
Rand al'Thor.
His name is Randall Thor.
But anyway, one of the things about him is like he actually he looks a little bit different than most other people. Like he's a little bit taller, and he just has like
he's born Chad.
He has like slightly different physical characteristics, and you find out because the person he thought he was his dad isn't his dad. Turns out he's like not actually like from here, that sort of thing. Hidden, lineage, all that bullshit.
I mean, that gives narrative weight to him having a slight difference from the relative like monoculture that he is from, and like the actual appearances. If your narrative is served by like diversity, you should have diversity. But if it is served by a lack of diversity, there should be a lack of diversity.
Precisely.
These are all tools.
If you're forcing diversity at cost of the plot and at cost of using effective tools, then you're fucking up. It's put it somewhere else.
There's a problem that I think of Michael Bay a lot with, despite Michael Bay not actually having this problem as much as I might pretend he does, which is my favorite stunts. I want to do my favorite stunts. So when he wants to do his favorite stunts, okay, his favorite stunts for a while were blowing up tall buildings by having a meteor smash through them. So in like 3 movies in a row, there's a big tall building that's all windows down the side, and a big old meteor type thing smashes into it and goes throughout the other side. Isn't that cool? He wants to do his favorite stunts. And unfortunately, with things that, like, a lot of people will say, like, oh, that's forced diversity, and the problem is that they're black people now. The problem isn't that character is any kind of race. The problem is that it's a favorite stunt scene. If somebody wants to do their favorite thing, they'll put it in the thing, even if it doesn't fit. It's why Wild Wild West has a giant metal spider.
Yeah. I don't know if we ever actually went in on the story of that, of like how we insisted. Maybe we did in a previous episode, maybe we didn't. But you should look it up yourself if you haven't.
Kevin Smith does like a whole thing where he's talking to, I think it's a college class, about his experience making movies, and specifically his experience trying to make a Superman movie that would have starred Nicolas Cage that was killed because I think it was a former hairstylist that had like gotten so much money and clout and like influence that they became a producer, and then everything that they tried to produce, they were like, and then the giant spider comes in, and everyone's like, okay, but you told us before to like the movie's about this, and now you want a giant spider, and he's like, yeah. And then he killed like 3 movies because they were like, there's no room for a giant spider here, man. And he's like, then it sounds like there's no movie. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Until Wild Wild West.
Until Wild Wild West, the greatest film of all time. He was right. It needed a giant spider.
It did. It was an excellent film because of the giant spider. What a worthy foe.
It's temporarily revived steampunk.
That it did. We got Golden Compass.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but we got it.
It was almost good. It could have almost done it.
Man. I don't think steampunk's ever going to be a successful thing.
You know, that's such an interesting era of movies because we had Narnia, and Narnia was moderately successful, and then we had Golden Compass, and it was almost good enough. I don't even remember it at all. Maybe I never even watched it, but I remember just that era of movies because Narnia only went to Prince Caspian.
So
before that fizzled out, and we kind of stopped getting movies again at all.
That era of movies started off as the young adult fantasy craze.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
With Harry Potter. And then we tried to do like Percy Jackson and all these things. And like you said, Narnia, we didn't even finish all those. We were done with those partway through with Prince Caspian. And I think Prince Caspian didn't even have all the kids in it. Like it was like one guy or something.
Yeah, it was weird. The cast was weird.
And it's because partway through, this is my belief at least, partway through that era, we pivoted because Twilight. And instead of it being the young adult fantasy genre, it was the young adult horny fantasy genre.
Yeah, and we're still in romantasy. Like, we're still in the romantasy phase of fantasy genres.
Because all those Team Edward kids got older.
I guess.
And they're still buying things.
I guess.
Romantasy is one of the things that, like, you can write the same book 100 times.
Yeah.
And it's a banger.
Just Romeo and Juliet, just redo it again.
And
do it again, another one.
I would like to bring this into writing advice. So a thing that a lot of people have a problem with is that as soon as they think of something that they want to do or they think is clever, they will shoot themselves down with "it's been done." And there's a meme, and you can do that with anything, where they'll be like, well, a character like that's already been done. I don't want to do it now. Like they'll talk themselves out of it. And there's a great meme of a guy who's like, my cake isn't as good as this cake, and he puts it down, and then a customer comes in and is like, oh boy, 2 cakes! And let me tell you, that's just how everything is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can write the same book again and again and again, and what people won't say is, oh, I guess that's already been done. They'll say, like, oh, I see what this is. They just recognize it.
And a lot of time, that's an enjoyable thing.
Yeah.
Most people don't think, oh, man, it's that thing I like. They think, oh, yeah, I know this. I like these.
And I
like one of these.
Let me run you through your own memories right now. Everyone listening to me, I want you to think about when you read something or watched something and you were like, that was pretty sick. That was the first time I've seen this sick-ass thing, and I really liked it. And then some guy who might be me, like a dickhead, who's just like, actually, that thing is just a refurbished or rehashed version of this thing. And then I want you to remember watching that other thing, because I guarantee you your emotional state at that point was like, I see how this became that. This is great. I'm so glad that I have now seen 2 cakes. I guarantee you that has happened. If you want to rewrite Romeo and Juliet, but you want it to be about like a fox or a story of like just the stories that have been done a million times, or a character that's been done a million times, you can do Luke Skywalker if he was in an Old West setting.
I love me a space adventure.
Yeah. It's a lot of the ways that we cut ourselves down creatively are just ways that we want to be important that aren't real. We want to, like, the first guy to do something, that must be really cool. You know what the first guy to do basically everything reports about being the first guy to do something? People threw tomatoes at me until suddenly they didn't.
Most of the times, the first guy to do something didn't do it very well, and that's why we don't talk about his version.
Yeah.
We talk about the guy like the 5-6 times down that refined that and then made something we actually liked.
And when somebody does something new for the first time and it is beloved, it is an absolute exception. And king of this exception is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings really blazed the trail for a lot of fantasy.
I myself am working on Tolkienian fantasy.
It wasn't the original to do everything in it. In fact, the reason that The Hobbit, the first one written, was so successful is because people were already familiar with children's story fantasy.
Yeah.
He wasn't breaking new ground with making a child story fantasy. He wasn't even breaking new ground by writing epic fantasy. He was just making it in the, like, he modernized it into the way that it's palatable to everybody to this day, pretty much.
Yeah.
That is my opinion.
Well said, well said.
I got off on a whole other topic. Do we have another question? We got another question.
Yes, we do. What is your favorite holiday? I feel like this one might be unanimous.
Mine's pretty easy. Yeah. Halloween.
Christmas.
Oh,
really?
Christmas
You're a
boy.
Christmas
Good.
boy?
He's a good Christian boy.
Yeah.
Not even really. I mean, Christmas is just about the vibes, man.
It is.
No, it is.
It's very warm family vibes, and like I personally have, so this is some Kevin lore. I have a massive curse applied to me due to an injury that I sustained in my youth, and I can't remember things very well. That's why you'll probably hear me repeat my opinions quite a lot, because I don't remember that I've said them before. I'm like a goldfish. And when people tell me their birthday, I have to be like, okay, real talk, I'm not going to remember. We both need to accept it, but I will promise you, around Christmas time, the New Year's, I do a thing called Giftsmas, which is, since I cannot remember birthdays, I certainly can't budget for, like, birthday presents, 1, due to poverty, and 2, due to the aforementioned brain curse. But I can plan for end of the year, try to show everybody that I love them, with an amount of gift that they would not purchase for themselves.
Giftsmas occurs anywhere between November to March of the next year.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little further, it just depends.
I'm not very good at planning things out, but I think it's good.
Yeah, our circle of friends, most of us will practice Giftsmas.
Yeah.
Like, I do Christmas with my immediate family, but I do Giftsmas with these guys.
Yeah.
And it's basically, you just, you pick a time during the Christmas seasons to give somebody a gift something they wouldn't get themselves, basically Christmas, but instead of sitting down.
Yeah, emphasis on you wouldn't get yourself.
Emphasis.
Emphasis. They wouldn't get it for themselves, but you know that they would love it.
Yeah.
And you should hang up the sign. That was a gift from a friend.
The way he can just bold-face lie.
I got Rob a mermaid tail. That was like a blanket to warm your legs.
Those were the best ones, eh?
That's a great one, yeah.
Yeah, that's like as he needs leg warmers.
Yeah.
Well, no, the best part was his reaction to it was because he was like on the couch or something at his house, and then he opened it and then saw what it was, and he was just like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And then he just immediately put it on.
Yeah.
And so it's just Rob just splayed out
the
on
Rob
the couch, giant pink mermaid tail from the waist down.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, it's so warm."
Comfy Max.
did good work that day.
It's pretty great.
That was a great one.
Because at any point you just look over and it's Rob just lounging as a mermaid.
That was a good gift, man.
You boys want to maybe hop off that ship? Come smash yourselves on the rocks.
Christmas for me, it's more about the vibes,
I get that, and I respect Christmas as a holiday because, like, okay, it's winter. Everything outside is dead. All the animals are starving and sad. We're sleeping. They said, fuck off, world. We're down here. Snakes, they hibernate and don't sleep. They don't actually hibernate. They stay awake the whole time. What a wretched existence. What a horrible, wretched existence. Winter is horrible. Winter is horrible. And so because winter is horrible, we all get together and remind each other that it's going to be okay. The spring is around the corner, so let's drink some cocoa and wear ugly sweaters and get together and remember that it's about peace and love. And I love that. But I don't like spooky stuff. I actually don't like spooky stuff. I like costumes. I like costumes, so I like Halloween. I like specifically handing out candy because I like to see the children in their little costumes, and I might actually be a bad person. This might make me a bad person because
Are you still giving out guns every Halloween?
Whoa, what? That's a loaded question. No, I don't do that.
Just like the guns you hand out. I know. It's a damn bloodbath.
I set you up for that one. I teed you up for that one. No, but every year we get full-size candy bars.
Oh, man.
And we get the fun-size candy. And
the punishment candy?
The punishment candy.
Oh, it is? Oh, no.
Because if you come to my house with some weak-ass bullshit costume thinking you're going to get a full-size candy bar from me, you got another thing coming, kid. You come back next year looking spiffy, you can have a full-size Snickers. But if you're going to...
Show me some effort.
Yeah, show me some effort. Like, and I understand some people can't afford it, blah, 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 sure, whatever. I'm not giving them candy.
Yeah.
They're still getting 2 small pieces of candy. You're just not getting the full-size candy bar because I don't have a full costume in my face.
Yeah.
The one that made me feel bad, though, this is when I questioned the practice. I was like, I might be doing something evil here. I might be a bad man. Was this boy and this girl and their dad came up, and the dad was kind of like teed out. He was like, okay, I'm chaperoning, whatever, man. He's like, come on, kids, like, I want to, Dad, let's drink a beer, kind of felt like,
let's wrap this up.
And the boy is dressed as a ninja, and it's like a generic kind of like store-bought, black, loose, just kind of clothes. He has a little like sash on. He's holding a sai. No mask, no helmet, no nothing. It's sure, whatever. Yeah. Pretty fucking uninspired. I'm like, okay, all right, man. You're a ninja.
Get the fuck off my porch.
Yeah, my thoughts. Get the fuck off my porch. And his sister comes in with goggles, a scarf, a cap, bomber jacket, fur coat, popped. With fucking the
a pilot princess.
She's Amelia Earhart. So when I asked them, and who are you this year? The boy goes, I'm a ninja. He does a little pose. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I give him 2 Snickers, 2 little baby Snickers. Yeah. And the sister's like, I'm Amelia Earhart, and I lose my shit because feminist icon. She fucking flew across the goddamn ocean.
Stay away from the crabs.
And so I give her not 1 but 2 full-size candy bars. That was the best costume I'd seen all night.
This decadent favoritism.
And
I see why this guilt
a
eats
Reese's
you.
And a Kit Kat, and his mouth drops and his lip quivers, and he turns and goes to leave, and his dad starts giggling, and that's when I was like, oh no, like. He thinks it too. I might be evil. Like,
oh man.
Oh no.
I do have to say, the extremity of this story specifically, you did go too far.
I did, but it was that.
I know.
Yeah, that was evil. That wasn't good.
It wasn't evil, but it was too far.
It was it was not a
right
kind,
in front of the.
It
kid.
was not a kind act.
Yeah.
But
if you'd just given her like the big candy bar. And
just the 1 would have been fine.
That would have been okay.
But I gave her 2 because I was just caught up in the moment. I was like, look at how this is so cool. You put so much thought and time into your costume, little girl. Holy shit.
Or at least one of your parents did.
Yeah. Exactly. Someone did something here that made my evening.
Yeah.
And your brother didn't, so he can go fuck off.
Your dentist will thank me. Get out of here.
Get out of here, kid.
And you take care. Have a good night, Amelia. Happy Halloween.
And that is why Halloween is my favorite holiday.
I really enjoy Halloween. The nights that I've worked on Halloween have been some of my favorite nights interacting with the public, because typically everybody is, if they're not in costume, they're still like in like a sort of festive mood. They're typically going to celebrate, meet people for other things. And I do always enjoy seeing people in costume. I have a story that I tell everybody. One of my first years driving rideshare stuff, I was working Halloween, and I picked up 2 out of 4 guys who were doing a bar crawl in DC or Alexandria, one of those. And they were wearing television quality Teletubbies costumes.
Oh, baby.
And if you're familiar with that, those costumes are 8 feet tall. The heads, like...
They're huge.
They're huge. Only 2 of them could fit into my, like, SUV-type vehicle. And they had to take the heads off, and, like, we lashed them to the top of the car. Like, we bungee corded them. Like... And I just drove them to meet up with their other 2 friends, who are the other 2 Teletubbies.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. I questioned them briefly on, like, why do you have Teletubbies? Like, why do you have such good Teletubbies costumes?
Yeah,
really?
that's really the question is, how do you have such high quality?
Because having Teletubbies costumes,
studio
there's
quality.
4 of you, that's cool. But, like... It's better than just a mascot costume. Like, it's a higher quality than, like, you'd see, like, them people wearing at, like, Disney World. These were really nice. It genuinely, I was like, are these the Teletubbies out here just getting fucked up?
That's hilarious.
I loved working on Halloween the nights that I did it. There was one time I thought I was picking up 2 young men that were supposed to be doing zombies. I assumed that was what why their faces had blood smears on them. And no, it turns out that they were being dicks and they got thrown out of a party.
Oh.
And I was like, well, like, okay, what happened? And they explained the story a bit to me. It's dumb high school shit. They were being kind of dicks in the way that teenage boys can kind of be dicks, but they weren't actively wronging anybody. But then one guy was like, well, you guys got to get out of here because, like, this has been terrible, like, PR for you guys. And they're like, we don't want to leave the party. And he's like, well, everyone else does, so we're going to make you leave. And so they got, like, chased out after a fight. And then I had to pick them up on the side of the road, which isn't that odd. Typically with, like, teenagers, I will have to pick them up off the side of the road because they're drinking in the woods or some other place they don't want, like, tracked down by whomever gets the address.
The Utes. So
I figured these 2 young zombies are just, they're staggering along because they've been doing some underage drinking. And you know what? Calling an Uber is the smart thing to do. I remember back in my day, everybody's plan was just get in the back of the guy who's most confident about drunk driving. That was a terrible plan. A lot of people lost their lives. Calling an Uber is a much better choice for these teenagers to be making.
Yeah.
And then they get in the car and they're like, no, this is our blood. Like, we got beat up. And I'm like, oh, man.
Brutal.
Oh, poor kids. But there's always a story. There was one guy in D.C. Who, on Halloween, was riding around on a motorcycle, and his helmet was made to look like blue and fuzzy. I don't know if it was supposed to be Cookie Monster or something, but he had like a themed outfit for his motorcycle. And evidently he was mad at somebody because he screeched to a stop in the street and yelled at somebody on like a patio drinking outside. And then that person kicked him off of his bike.
Oh shit, dude.
Like a flying like drop kick.
Yo.
Got his ass.
Yo.
And he's in the street.
And you just drove by?
I had to.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a quality Uber trip right
there.
Yeah. Just flying dragon kicks?
Just seeing a guy just screech to a stop. Hey, Flying kick, bam! Into the street.
Got his ass.
Got his ass.
I love to hear it.
But the vibes of Christmas are always very friendly. And I guess you work in the restaurant industry. Does, like, Christmas bring out the best or worst in people, you think?
Hit or miss.
I know that I've heard horror stories from people who, like, work at IHOP or any breakfast place, and they're like, every Sunday the church is empty, and then they come to just piss all of us off beyond belief.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I want to segue into our next topic, and that's going to be the best piece of advice you've received. This one is going to be, you don't have to give me the exact best, because that's kind of, that might be a bit of a doozy, but, it was just some good advice you've heard,
Well.
Yeah, I need
the problem with this is that I don't lead a successful life that I can attribute to any sort
I live
of...
a very samey, wacky goblin life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of a silly...
Stay
silly
hydrated.
Guy. Yeah, stay hydrated is that's definitely solid advice.
There's very few situations where stay hydrated doesn't serve you pretty well.
Here's one that I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to make friends, but you shouldn't make enemies.
Anywhere you go, you can pretty much follow that.
Yeah, you don't have to be somebody's buddy or guy or pal.
Yeah.
But don't cross people. Like you should go out of your way not to cross people.
You don't have to go to happy hour with your boss, but if he asks if you want to hang out after work, you're well within your rights to be like, actually, I have plans that don't involve hanging out with my boss. That's fine. And that can extend to everything.
Yeah.
Like, you go to my first thought is like a local game store, grognards abound. But you don't have to be a complete dick. You can just...
Because Kevin, honestly, all three of us live in this field where we're nerds, but we're attractive and like somewhat charismatic. So the more
I have an 8-pack.
So the more goblinoid-esque nerds will sometimes cling to us when we go to nerd stores and stuff because we're friendly and affable and like charming in our own ways. And then, I'm not outright, like, offended by their existence as some people are. Because that's generally how some people act. It's fucking crazy. Some people are just like, ugh, like, when you approach them. It's happened to me a few times. It's fair fucking jarring, dude. But, like, yeah. And then, so, yeah, they just want to hang out and stuff. And it's like, oh, no, buddy. Like, I'm just being nice because I'm nice. Like, I just don't want you to be... I don't want to give you any reason to, like, fuck me over if you're in a bad mood. Yeah. That's how I live my life. I never want to give anyone a reason to be petty. Now, because some people are just petty little shits.
Another thing I will say about specifically, like, the nerds that I will call nerds. That's the thing that I do a lot where I go, nerds. Even the people that I, like, cannot stand to be around typically... I'm not going to say, like, I hate them for correct reasons. I know that I'm like a petty, strange man who gets bothered by people who just speak in a way that, like, just I disagree with slightly. I'm like, you could be better than that. Which is nonsense. That's a nonsense way of living.
As long as you acknowledge it.
Like... I'm not going to say, like, oh, we're the coolest and all these loser brand nerds, like, glom onto us. There are loser brand nerds. There are people who have a hard time making friends. There are people who have all of the negative qualities that we ascribe. There are people who have merely some of them. There are people who merely appear that they have those negative qualities. Humanity is a wonderful cornucopia of differences. You don't have to be a dick to everybody, and I'm telling myself that a lot of the time.
Yeah, you can... here's a bit of advice I got from Kevin, actually. And this is less of advice and more of an observation. A lot of people are very bad at being good to one another. So the best thing you can do, or one of the most useful things you can do, is be good to people.
Yeah.
That's honestly, if if you want to think of yourself as a good person, then just be good to people.
Yeah.
And then you can check that box off of things you've done with your life. At least you were a good person. If you have nothing else in your life, at least you were good.
Yeah. And
I mean, I guess, depends on how you define good, but like, yeah, that's up for you, Bubba. That's up for you.
bringing more joy into the world than negativity is a good thing. And
I
even
believe
making
so.
the attempt is a valiant effort.
I agree.
Especially for some of the annoying people that I truly, truly don't want to actively make fun of.
It's rough, man.
I don't want to, but I'm a weird, hateful, petty man, as I have expounded upon.
Being a hater sometimes...
I'm just a hater. That's what it is.
Sometimes you're just born that way, man. I don't know. You're born observant, and then because of those observations, you can't, like...
In spite of my hatred, I want you to flourish and be your best self. But I also really think that, like, people who are too into AI are weird and wrong, and there's, like, people who, like, denounce, like, creativity, and people... There's no shortage of nerds who are like, I'm not creative, despite the fact that the only thing that they engage in is creativity. They just refuse it as like a lesser thing to...
And that's, a lot of times, that boils down to virtuosity versus expression. They're such a virtuoso that they're so good at what they do, they don't view it as being creative. They view it as just doing like being a tool, you know?
Yeah.
But you're still creating something. You're being creative. You're just not as expressive as someone else who's willing to, be some more zany and vibrant. You're more of like a fucking machine. But it doesn't mean you're not being creative. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
I've talked myself into making this an apology. I'm gonna make this question an apology because...
Mario, what's yours?
Yeah. You give good advice.
So, I don't know if someone gave me this advice necessarily, or
he took it.
For me, I guess it would just be like in the context of like a kitchen. Just get it done. So it's like that might sound stupid, but like what I mean by that is like, so I do a lot of prep. So like prep, for example, can take a lot of time. So like, which, there's people who, like, it depends on how invested you are in your job and shit like that, whatever. But, you can like do that in two ways. Basically, it's just like you do it because you're clocking time, or you just fucking get it done. Like, which, two very different things. So it's like if someone's like just working the clock, like, sure, like if it's a job you don't give a fuck about, like whatever, like, if you're like
hourly.
Yeah, if you're like McDonald's or something, like I can't really blame you for that or something. But it's like, but if it's like you want this like your career or something, then like
if you care about your coworkers and how things are going outside of like the direct kitchen
but, like,
area,
Taking pride in your work.
yeah.
Not even that, it's just that, like, so, like, when, in a pizza shop, you make dough. Yeah, obviously. But when you make the dough, then you got to cut it, weigh it, roll it out, that sort of thing. Can take a lot of time. So, really, your option is do it slowly, but get it done. And, just use your time up.
Use as much time as you need because you don't particularly care about getting it done expediently.
Or you do it and you're actively trying to be better at it, so you can just get it done faster.
Yeah.
And then, like, you've done better work because, like, you've gotten so good at it, it doesn't take you a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was just...
And as long as you're willing to, like, dedicate the attention and effort towards it, you just get better and faster.
So it's and it's like...
Don't do it for time, just get it done.
Yeah. So, and it's, if you have like a lot of prep work to do, but if you've done all of it for a long time and if you've gotten good at doing all of those things, you can knock it all out quickly. And then once you've done your work, you can just chill. Like, if you got nothing else to do, you just fucking...
You know what?
Yeah.
Why work the clock by, like, doing your work slowly when you can knock it all the fuck out because you're just really good and that makes you a better employee. And then you can just fucking chill. Or, like, you can do something else and, like, be an even better employee, like, depending...
I'd like to amend my advice, piggybacking off of what you reminded me of just now. There is a dumb meme that I saw that actually affected me. That was a monkey drinking Gatorade, a chimpanzee or something. An ape, I suppose. And it was literally just saying like the monkey realizes that you suffer more within your mind than you are truly suffering, and that your advice sort of reminded me of like the go-to military advice of embrace the suck. Yeah, it sucks. We all know it sucks. Just do it. And suffering more in the mind is absolutely something that like the people who are working the clock are doing. This job sucks. I'm going to like slow down what I'm doing because I don't want to do more of it, and I'm going to get the job like paid either way. And it is an increased like perception of misery than the actual misery that you're going through. You're like, it's not that tiring, but it does make you more sad to work that way. I fully believe that an embracing of the suck and understanding of we suffer more in our mind is like some of the finest advice that I've gotten for just living. Because like, especially when I work myself up into like anxiety or like panic or depression, I try to recenter myself by literally thinking, my body is not injured or in pain. I am not starving or thirsty. I am not ill. There is no actual pain inside of me. I am suffering more in my mind than I'm truly suffering at this moment. And that allows me to sort of let go of that suffering long enough to like point that brain power elsewhere. I go from thinking about like, this sucks, none of this is worth it, none of it's working, into being like, okay, that's me making up a reason to be mad when right now, even if all those things are true, I am not being like zapped constantly in the balls about it. Like, I'm actually just sort of sitting around, aren't I? I'm comfortable, in fact. And I have a yummy drink next to me. And maybe I can work on this other thing that makes me think of a different way. And I don't have to think about that horrible thing that, in truth, whether or not I'm right about whatever horrible thing, being sad about it right there and suffering for it doesn't serve me in any way, and is something that I can choose to observe and therefore move past. And the advice of just do it is absolutely like entangled in there of like, okay, commiserating about like how awful this is doesn't get it done. Just do it.
Yeah, which, that's not to say, like, don't just suffer through things you don't enjoy, but...
No, but, like, when you can observe that you're doing that, when you are, like, and, like, that's not the optimal way to do it, you can just do it.
Yeah, and I just use kitchen prep work as an example, but it's like,
It extends
so
to life.
I give that
yeah.
advice, but I'm very bad at applying that in other aspects,
It's advice for a reason.
But yeah, like, just that core concept of like, going back to the rolling dough thing. Like when I would teach people and they get frustrated because it's like they can't do it, and it's just like, oh, it's like I can't do it. It's just like, no fucking shit, you can't do it. Like you've never done it before.
Yeah.
I try to guide people through the motions of just don't worry about like doing it quickly or doing it, just do it right, then you can worry about doing it quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just like guiding people through those steps like over and over again. It was like really annoying because it was just like I do it and like they go through the basic steps and it's like you roll it into a ball basically.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. But and it would be like, they have like a shitty ragged looking ball, and then like, I got like my nice smooth one over here, and it's just like, well, it doesn't look like yours. And I was like,
no kidding.
Yeah. I've been doing this for a decade. Like, if you could do it as good as me on your first day, I wouldn't be here. Like,
did you forget that he's the one teaching you right now?
Yeah.
Why do you think he's in charge of teaching you? Because he's not very good at it?
Yeah, it just would irritate me. It's just like, you've been doing it for like 15 minutes. Like,
yeah,
chill. You'll get it eventually. Like, you just got to keep doing it.
Your first day running, you're not going to like place in the marathon. You're probably not even going to finish.
Yeah, fair enough. That's also advice in and of itself.
Yeah.
And we have one more question, and that's going to be, what is a book you would recommend to anyone?
So, obviously, we can all agree that the first 3 Mistborn books are really good.
Pretty damn good.
It's good, but I don't know if I could recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, however. in terms of books, I have a much more limited amount of things that I would recommend because I am a poser-ass motherfucker. I'm a writer. I wrote a book, but all the books that I would recommend are like, and if you're like me, you'll love this.
Yeah, so like I have any number of books, but I'm just like, but to anyone?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's extend this beyond books to...
I have one.
Oh, yeah? Let me hear it. And don't say the Bible.
Well, no.
Okay, good.
But it would be Forever After an Odd Adventure by J.K. or by K.J. Quinn.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Aww. That's not nice.
I've looked back on it. I think I was actually a pretty clumsy writer at the time.
It's cute. It's a cute little fantasy adventure, but that's why I'd recommend it to anyone, because it's not offensive.
It has a couple references that I put in there that I'm realizing don't read at all. Like, don't scan at all. But if you do try to check it out... please don't cyberbully me about it.
Bully him! Bully him!
I know it's not very good. If you enjoy it, I'd love to hear it. But if you don't enjoy it, you can just leave it at that.
Destroy his fragile little ego.
This would be great if you could just flash back to me being like, and those nerds, they're loser ass nerds. Just all of this.
I think
I'd like to flash back to the end of that where I turned it into an apology. I know I'm a hater. I'm wrong.
maybe The Hobbit.
The Hobbit's
That's
a good one.
a good one.
Because-
That's a children's book. Anyone can read it.
But more so even than Lord of the Rings, I've talked to like a lot of people.
It's easier to read than Lord of the
like
Rings.
who I know don't like read like
Yeah.
have said like, oh, I read The Hobbit, so it has some sort of like universal appeal, I think.
Yeah. If we're limiting ourselves completely to books, my answer is going to be Spider Legs, actually.
Spider Legs.
So,
The fuck is Spider Legs?
I'm not recommending it because I think that you'll love it or that it's good. Spider Legs is a batshit insane book that I picked up at a used bookstore, and the picture on the front of it is a lobster crawling onto like a research vessel, like a boat.
Oh, I remember this. I remember this.
What's interesting
story.
about that is that doesn't occur in the book
At all.
technically, because what we actually see in the first start of the book is it's a research vessel in the Arctic, and they see a giant crab on one of the icebergs, and it scuttles under their ship, kills everybody. Horrible. Not a lobster. Thing number one. Thing number two, it's clarified later, it's not even a crab. It's a giant sea spider. Thing number three, it's not even that. It's actually a biomechanical suit that is being driven by an eco-terrorist who its pilot seat is modeled after like a car. It has like a steering wheel and like a shift lever and a clutch. And he has to get in a scuba suit to get into like the liquid like pilot seat in the giant biomechanical sea spider that he built, that he uses for Godzilla purposes, I guess, in order to teach people about global warming. And when he gets stopped at the end of the book, he's such a genius, the main character lets him go because this Lex Luthor motherfucker and his sea spider is the only one who can save us from global warming. And the last thing that this villain, who has spent the entire time terrorizing everybody in, I can't believe that I have to say it again, a biomechanical crab with a car fucking steering wheel in it. He says, "Thank you for letting me go. I'm going to go solve global warming now by poisoning water in Africa." And that's the end of the book, and it's played off as like, Godspeed, Lex Luthor.
Jesus Christ. Spider Legs.
Spider Legs. It's fucking bananas.
A classic for the ages.
I read this too young, by the way. I went into like the 5th grade, like, to my teacher, like, "You read any of this shit?" And they're like, "No, never heard of it."
Never heard of it, kid. Not even kind of.
I'm always big into kaijus and things. So, giant crustacean of some sort attacking a boat, I was right in there for. Was not prepared for eco-terrorism and a completely batshit fucking... He just drives it places and makes it destroy things. He has no, there's no part of it where he's like, and then on that oil rig, I'm going to, shut it down and close off the well. None of that shit. He goes on the oil rig and just starts stabbing guys with the giant spider legs. There's no I'm going to go into the city and destroy the power plant that's polluting the air. He just goes into the city and wrecks cars and things.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a genius at all.
Sounds like the author's a bit masturbatory. And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the nature of this content, you can go and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can go ahead and give me a follow on Blue Sky, and you can support us on our Patreon. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.